What's up, guys? Today is March 11th, 2021. You are watching Murphy's Medical Minute. Thanks for joining. Today I wanted to go through something really important, which is a highly debated topic that's going on. And I think it'll only continue to be as we evolve through the vaccination process. My live stream today was held up late because of patient care and scheduling my J&J vaccine. That's right. So I had to schedule my J&J vaccine, and it was like going through a Soviet breadline in terms of having to navigate this process. So I appreciate all of those who've struggled through the vaccine process. For all of those who've not struggled through it, let me tell you, if you don't get vaccinated, you may not be able to travel. What? Yeah, you may not be able to travel if you're not vaccinated. Conscientious objector or not, you may not be able to get on that plane and go to Disney World. Why? Because you don't have a vaccine passport. That's what we're going to talk about today on Murphy's Medical Minute. Stay tuned. All right, guys, let's get this up here. Let's get the party started. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about vaccine passports. What's a vaccine passport? Well, it's a proof of identification. You're going to have to say, oh, ID, please, or you're going to have to pull up your phone, right? You pull up your phone, and you're going to have to literally show the authorities, so to speak, that you're going to have to show the authorities your vaccine passport, right? You're going to have your app up and you'll be like, see, I'm COVID immune. I know you're going to go, oh, no, wait, that's not the app that you take. Oh, wait, here. Oh, yep, sorry, here it is. See, I'm vaccinated. I'm free of ticks and worms, right? Like the dog, the full boat of health, right? I've taken my ivermectin. I am free of worms. Thank you very much. So today I want to talk a little bit about it. And there's a lot of undercurrent with vaccination here. And we are really concerned that discrimination is going to be rampant with COVID vaccination or immunity passports. When the immunity passport idea first was brought up back in April of 2020, I said to myself, this is not going to be, there's too many questions that we don't know first. We didn't even know if immunity was lifelong, how long it lasted for. And now that we have variants out there, we didn't even know about the potential of, yes, you're immune to this type, but not the other type. In addition to that, we have real issues regarding ability to get vaccination. We see that people of color are routinely discriminated against and not getting adequate vaccination despite efforts. So the question today is the following. Vaccine passports. Are they discrimination disguised as public health? Let's check it out. First off, what the heck is a vaccine passport? What's a vaccine passport? Well, a vaccine passport is designed to show that you are safe for travel. That means you are not going to give people on the airplane or in the place you're traveling to COVID-19 or SARS CoV2, to be more precise. You know, I'm a civil surgeon, right? So I do immigration exams on the regular. I do immigration exams regularly. I work with a lot of different lawyers. I work with a lot of different immigration attorneys. I work with a lot of different firms to make certain that patients seeking a green card or seeking citizenship get proper medical evaluation. That is called a civil surgeon. I am a United States civil surgeon working for customs and immigration. Patients come to me. I have to ask them questions. The most important questions I ask them are, have you been incarcerated? Do you have severe mental illness? Do you have a communicable disease like HIV or syphilis? And most importantly, are your vaccines up to date? If you're in flu season and you didn't get a flu vaccine, you will not get certified in the United States without proof of a flu vaccination. Without proof of a flu vaccination. So this is not off the wall. This is not off the wall. We know that this happens when you're in this country. However, when I go to Westchester Airport to fly out of it, I'm not showing them that I got my flu shot. Instead, we'll pack the plane, we'll go down to Disney. When I get down there, I'll wipe down the surfaces of wherever I'm at so that way we don't get norovirus. I'll spray Lysol in the air, and we've been doing that every year. That's our own risk with travel. We know that risk. However, the proposal now is simple. Airlines, cruise lines, airports, travel industries have been decimated because of COVID-19, and they are desperate to get people back in the air. I saw a flight the other day over to Las Vegas for $25. That's $25. That's how desperate the airlines are right now to have some sort of cash flow going in. Because of that, the International Air Transportation Association, otherwise known as IATA, have engaged on several stakeholder debates. They've talked with the FAA. They have researched where the highest risk places are in the airport. You want to know where they are? They're at the gate where everyone crowds when you load the plane. They're at the food courts where everyone sits down, takes off their masks, and eats. They're on the cab or the transportation on the monorail at Orlando to and from the plane. Lowest risk is on the plane. Highest risk is traveling to the plane. So IATA has actually engaged 12 different airlines to develop vaccine passports. The World Health Organization has no stance for or against it. The United States has said, listen, let's focus on vaccinating first. So who is considering vaccine passports? Right now I can tell you that Panama is trialing a pass already with IATA. In addition, Israel has their Green Pass. Their Green Pass currently in use for gyms and concerts and public events. New York City also is working with IBM on their Digital Health Pass. Aruba is developing an app for tourism. China also is developing an app for tourism. And the EU is actively reviewing these proposals now for legislation requiring vaccine passports. You can see the countries that are going to issue vaccine certificates. Bahrain, Estonia, Hungary, Poland. And you will see that the travel countries, those tourism countries like Cyprus, Greece, Iceland, Italy, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, they are going to require vaccine certification for travel with a vaccine passport. In most of these countries, tourism has taken a precipitous fall. But what I find interesting and what you're going to find is France and Germany are passing on the vaccine passports. You know, I want to conjecture on that, but can you think about Nazi-controlled Europe? Papers, please. Perhaps I think there's some pushback here requiring papers for proof of things. I think this is a really big pushback, and we're going to see a lot of citizens of a lot of countries push back on the civil rights issue here with requiring vaccines for travel. That being said, as a United States civil surgeon, I can tell you that there are laws requiring vaccination for residency in the United States. So to think that this isn't coming is foolhardy. Who's developing these apps? And what data are they going to hold? And is it going to be secure? Is it going to be secure? This is part of your health record. So the question is, are they going to keep your health record safe and secure? Who knows? IBM currently is working with New York City to develop their digital health pass pilot. They're using this digital health pilot to allow New York City residents to share their health status. Look at me, I'm vaccinated. It's not just a selfie on Twitter. Okay, it's not just a selfie on Twitter. It is a digital health record, that will be able to be shared by the person who owns the health record. The big question is, who else will share that data? Clear, I don't know if you guys have been to a sporting event or a concert where they have Clear, which is like a TSA pre-check for events. A TSA pre-check for events, whether those events are in a concert hall or in Carnegie Hall or at the shrine known as Yankee Stadium. In addition to that, IATA, as I said before, is developing a travel pass with 12 airlines, and Common Pass is a non-for-profit developing a vaccine passport system with the World Economic Forum. Dun, dun, dun! Here we go into the Great Reset conspiracy theories that should be going on and echoing in all my readers and listeners and viewers' heads right now. In all of their heads right now, the World Economic Forum is working on a vaccine passport. But what I can tell you is that sports teams and concert halls are desperately developing strategies. I know we have been engaged by several organizations on Broadway to help them with their testing strategy, for venue goers as well as for the talent. When is this happening? When are we going to be in, what did they say? They said to Jar Jar Binks, you send a big doo-doo, right? When are we all going to be in a big doo-doo? Because we're going to have vaccinations. March 17th, the European Union is going to present their draft legislation requirement. March 17th, guys. That's in 6 days. They're going to present their draft legislation for requirement for vaccine passports. Right now, New York City is trialing it. One has to ask himself, or herself, or whoever self you are, when is New York City going to require it to jumpstart Broadway? When is New York City going to require it to go to Yankee Stadium, to go to Citi Field? Stevie Cohen, when are you going to need vaccine passports? And that's what we need to figure out here. In addition, Common Pass and the World Economic Forum with Klaus is going to go live with their Common Pass in May. These dates are rapidly approaching. By plugging a blinder to what's going on, it's just foolishness. It's foolishness. We need to recognize that countries and companies are in a rush to get something together to jumpstart their economy. And that's the problem. Everyone is in a rush because they're choosing wealth over health. As I started and as I said, vaccine passports are really, the ethics behind them are to have as least restrictive requirements as possible. That's the ethical standard, the least restrictive requirements as possible for liberty, to not crack down on civil liberties, but at the same time also to preserve life, As we develop more treatments for COVID, as we develop early testing for COVID, and hopefully sometime in the future, as we can develop understanding of who's going to do poorly, which, here's a hint, we already know. If you're obese and you get COVID, you have a much higher likelihood of dying. So we should be focused on weight loss first. And regulating an entire industry that has created food addiction by putting carbohydrates glued together with fats and sugar to get us addicted to food and create obesity. Yeah, I said it. But guess what? Those industries have a lobby, therefore they will not be regulated. The FDA wants to regulate vaccines and medications, but they need to look at the poison right in front of them that they're putting on our shelves at grocery stores every day. There, I said it. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have another hidden discrimination because the lobbyists at Carnival Cruise Lines, the lobbyists at United Airlines, the lobbyists for all of these countries who rely on tourism are paying far more money to rush out vaccine passports, to rush out vaccine passports. I don't think vaccine passports have taken into account the fact that children are not eligible for vaccination now. So can children not travel? What are we going to do here? Number two, the underserved population. I can tell you the rigmarole that I just had to go through to get my J&J vaccine scheduled. Get on the phone, get on an app. Do you have an email? Is that email address right? No, it's wrong. You have to reset the password. Can you What are we doing here? The underserved are getting discriminated against with the ability to receive vaccination. We see that in the vaccination data as we speak. People of color, undomiciled, can't afford to get the documentation required. I don't know why Calendar's trying to use my location, right? I don't know what's going on with that, so we'll have to not allow that. There you go, guys. Don't allow. All right, so let's go back to where we are. In addition to this, what about those that are previously infected that have chosen not to take a vaccine? What about those that are previously infected and chosen not to take a vaccine? Which test are you going to require for proof that they're immune? And will you accept it? Are you going to force vaccination on everyone? Are we going to force vaccination on everyone? And are we going to use this as a hammer or a cudgel to force vaccination? Sorry, but you can't travel to your work out of state. Have a nice day. The burdens to travel and to domestic employment make it difficult. Make it difficult for those who need work most. We're going to have a whole bunch of unemployed people that are now going to have to prove that they were vaccinated to go to work, or that they're going to prove that they were immune with a test. We are not ready for vaccine passports. We're not ready for vaccine passports until we can properly answer the following. Which vaccine? Is it the mRNA? Is it the vector-based? Is it the protein-based? Is it the Novavax vaccine? Which vaccine standard are you going to take? And is it going to apply in every country? We have the FDA. We have the World Health Organization. We have the European Medical Association. Who gets to choose which vaccines are proper? It's almost like all the tourists going into China having to get an anal swab. Any country in the world can set their standards for this, and they have their right. That's their sovereignty. You won't catch me in China anytime soon. Yeah, there are a lot of other ways to get a swab. Are we going to agree on a testing protocol for travel? We still haven't found out which labs are right, which test is right. Is it the LAMP test, like the Abbott ID Now, which had notorious issues? Is it the antigen test, like the BD Veritor? Is it repeated testing? Is it PCR testing? Wait, is it antibody testing? Is it qualitative or quantitative? Which antibody test is it using ELISA? Or is it this new T-cell test that was approved by the FDA? Even more mind-blowing than that, I can tell you right now, I can't get my electronic medical record to properly communicate with another electronic medical record. The medical records are siloed in different EMRs, including the same service providers, right? Epic. Not all of those communicate with each other. eClinicalWorks, not all those communicate with each other. That's been the bane of existence for medical practices for a decade now, yet we were all forced to adopt electronic medical records. So what about these apps? If they're like any other software, they make their money preventing you from getting your records out to another platform. Who is going to use an open platform here? Will these apps even talk to each other? Will Cathay Pacific allow the JetBlue app? Who knows? Who knows? Vaccine passports are nowhere near ready. They are not ready for prime time. There are a few answers solved here, right? We need to solve all these answers before we start foisting on society the demand for vaccine passports. It's insane, guys. I can't begin to tell you right now. It makes absolutely no sense to me. It makes no sense to me that we're going to jump the shark on vaccine passports. We're going to jump the shark on vaccine passports. Why? To jumpstart economies, tourist economies, lobbyists in industries, the aviation, the airline industry, which, by the way, I'm an aviation medical examiner, a senior aviation medical examiner for the FAA. If anyone knows about safety of air travel and COVID, it's this guy right here. I've been studying it the entire time. I haven't gotten on a plane, and it's not because of the plane. It's not because of the plane at all. Put simply, it's because of the gate. It's because of the travel to the airport. It's because of getting on the monorail at MCO headed to Disney World. Too many people in a confined space with improper ventilation is a recipe for COVID. That's why I've waited for the vaccines. The kids can't get vaccinated yet. So why are we pushing a vaccine passport until we have max saturation of vaccines? Because we're not willing to wait. We're not willing to decimate the airline industry, the cruise line industry, the hotel industry, the resort industry, or the countries that rely on a significant proportion of their economy through tourism. And let me tell you the last reason, a little dirty secret. Humans suck at delaying gratification, and everyone is fed up. So now when we have variants climbing, right, guess what? Connecticut's numbers are up again today. But we're going to open up. Let's open up restaurants. We need to be honest with ourselves right now. We need to focus on testing, treating, isolating, and tracing, and vaccinating the hell out of the world. If we don't do that, we can have all the passports in the world. You can have all the passports in the world. But they, honestly, what good is a vaccine passport if you can't trust the test? If you can't trust the vaccine? If you can't trust how safe your health record is going to be? If you can't trust countries to communicate that information with each other? If you can't trust countries to allow different strategies and different tests? And if you can't trust the internet technology companies to keep your data safe and communicate it across platforms? We are nowhere near ready for vaccine passports yet. We couldn't be further away from them than possible. We have too many questions unanswered, but they're coming. Vaccine passports are coming. They're coming. There's no way around it. So now we need to get smart. We need to listen and pay attention. You stay tuned here. I'll keep you updated on the vaccine passport issue because it's a health issue. It's a public health issue. I'm an aviation medical examiner, so it's a travel and it's a flight issue. I'm also a civil surgeon, so I have to pay attention to what America wants to do in regards to immigration. I have to watch that every day with a medical eye to help you. Guys, it is March 11th, 2021. 6 days until St. Patrick's Day. I hope you have your corned beef and cabbage ready. Skip the potatoes, skip the carrots. They're not good for you anyways. The best thing you can do right now to take care of yourself, the best thing you can do is mask up, vax up, be good to each other, get your exercise, get your sun, take care of your body, refrain from vices, smoking and alcohol, moderation, be serious here. Our bodies are made to be well. If we put poison in our bodies, it's not going to do us any good. So remember that. Get your sun. It's a beautiful day out here in Connecticut. Go for a walk. Go for a walk. New York City, it's beautiful. Go for a walk. Help your body. And remember, we are made to be well. It's Dr. Murphy Medical Associates, our team at CoronatestCT.com. You just watched Murphy's Medical Minute.